So, hi everyone. We're going live to Facebook and possibly to YouTube and Twitter Periscope. And we're also testing on Twitch because we're going to look at a very quick HD test and what that looks like across different social networks. So, hi, I'm Evo Heyning. I am CEO at Playable Agency. Today I am going to be live with my friend K Magic, also known as Kirthi Nath, who is an amazing filmmaker. So hi, Kirthi, we can see you now. And so as I said, we're just live on Facebook and YouTube, and I believe also Periscope as well as Twitch. So we'll be able to look at what that content looks like across a couple of different platforms. So Kirthi, you had a really great question about HD content and how to deliver a solution. It sounds like you're just trying to record, but also having a streaming tool in your arsenal might be useful for you. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and maybe what you're trying to do?
Yes, so I am a video producer and filmmaker, and I want to do a couple things, which is I want to do a video series where we're pandemic style. We're going to be interviewing people through the internet. And so I'm looking for a tool to actually do the interview and have the recording so then I can share the interview as is, and then be able to edit that content and break it up into excerpts. And I'm looking at all these things. I'm seeing you're live. I'm seeing your hosting captions. And then I was like, oh, but how do we change the spelling of some things? So I'm very excited. And then my other question was, like, if I want to have 1920 by 1080, I understand whether it's Zoom or Streamyard, you need to pay the upgrade service. And I can wire my end, but I can't guarantee the people I'm interviewing are going to be able to do the hard wire for their Ethernet. So then what does that mean in terms of recording that higher quality and the streaming?
You're absolutely right that the quality is highly variant on what they have on the other end. And so part of that is the signal strength, their up and down speed. And part of that is whatever webcam and mic. Like, I'm on my second backup mic today. I've already packed my house, so my regular mic for doing a broadcast like this is already packed. So I'm gonna cut in and out, and you're gonna notice that today, right? This is not my highest quality experience. Same with, I'm using OBS Virtual Cam, which is why I've got that interesting weird little effect happening, because I was testing something for an art show for another virtual event in OBS. And we can play with these tools in order to do different types of layouts, but sometimes it degrades the overall quality of the experience. So if you're trying to get to something that is HD quality and where you're showing HD, we're going to look at something I worked on last week, which is a film fest. And so I'm going to hit play on this, and I'll turn down the volume. But what I want you to see is, I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit to where the panel goes live, because when the panel goes live, you're going to see a number of different types of experiences happen. So this group, I produced an event last week for Giant Screen Cinema Association, and this is specifically their global conference. And so we're going to go skip ahead just a little bit. And what I'm showing here is basically a picture-in-picture in the stream. So we were previewing HD trailers for IMAX movies, for example, and then the filmmakers were coming and talking about their pieces. And so you're getting this mix of content. And I'm going to skip ahead again because here is someone with a great webcam. This is someone who makes a camera, for example. So he's got high quality HD experience, and you can see what that looks like. But now I'm going to show you someone who's on a normal webcam at home. And this is what the YouTube looks like, but you can get a sense of it. And now here's a filmmaker in Africa who is live. And so, for example, what we're seeing right now That person is live in Africa while they're speaking. And so you can see what quality we're getting at this stage. I'm going to make him full screen for a minute. He speaks to us full screen a little bit. But basically, the HD quality degrades every time. So that's what you need to know. If, for example, you're trying to put together a talk show or a virtual event, you might have a great HD camera on your end. Your guests are going to have everything under the sun unless you're sending them a camera. Same on the microphone. And every time we put one of these windows more and more compressed, it compresses the experience. So right now in my OBS virtual cam, for example, I can do a lot with OBS virtual cam, but I am compressing the experience when I bring it into the Streamyard. Some people choose to just use OBS, and you can just use an OBS tool on your own system. I use OBS Studio. It's a free download. It's open source software. You can use that to just do your recordings natively on your own machine, lay them out exactly the way you want to, get exactly the shots you want, and you don't need to necessarily be paying for a tool like StreamYard if you're not trying to stream. Now, if you need a reliable streaming tool, then that's when you definitely want to use something like StreamYard.
With this OBS Studio, like, is it kind of almost like QuickTime Player where you're like recording the screen? You know,
it is a bit. So you're bringing in, and here, you know what? I can share my OBS window.
Oh, beautiful.
So what we'll do is look at that screen in screen for a few minutes here. So here you can see there's a mix of tools. So I can start recording right there and then stop recording. I can add something to it. And so this is where audio inputs, video, game capture, display. You can create scenes, which are often, for example, the overlays in a Twitch, for example, are often set up as scenes. Text is pretty self-explanatory. Window, video capture, which is what you're seeing right now, is a video capture. So you overlay these different layers, and I can also take myself out. And you can see why that's nested, because what I've done is basically created a mirror of my whole display there. I took the virtual cam and made it that little rabbit hole. So you can create different scenes, and you can also use the virtual cam in interesting ways here. And then you can also bring this into other tools. So for example, I use virtual cam to then bring this into StreamYard and then use this almost like a tool for producing talk shows on the fly.
Like, but can you show me so we can both be on the screen through this OBS, or it only records you through your camera?
So let's say you wanted to do a talk show with a few people. There is a tool called OBS Ninja. I'm gonna make a little banner for us here in StreamYard so that you can see that. I don't know if you've ever used StreamYard, but it does have these really nice tools that do very quick things like this. So OBS Ninja, for example. What I do like about StreamYard is the ease of these layouts. Like I'm switching right now with our screen share. I'm able to do banners. I'm able to pull comments from the social media stream as well. So anyone who's asking questions, let's say on Facebook or any other platform, I can then bring those into the broadcast. So this becomes a very easy way for me to, again, run a live talk show. It may not be as useful for a recorded HD experience when OBS is free and you don't have to pay for it. So in terms of your question, I would say try OBS. If the interface is a bit of a pain, you can certainly pay for something lightweight. StreamYard is $50 a month for the HD version. I believe most of the other tools in this range are similar, like Vimeo. Could also be used in terms of production.
It's very helpful. I mean, I can see how StreamYard with your OBS is like, it's great for live streaming. And it's like you're basically being able to have the switcher, have all the, like, it's very versatile for that. I think with the OBS, because the Ninja is the one where we can have like 2 people on the screen, but the basic studio is just 1 person.
Right. And I'm going to see if I can bring up OBS Ninja for us now, because it's a little bit of a different. All right. So OBS Ninja is a lot more sort of open source, very easy. But basically you just need to create those guest slots, and then their video appears and you can produce it this way. So you could certainly make this work as your source. For a very simple, up to 4 seats only. So when we're producing virtual events, for example, the number of seats is really important. OBS Ninja allows for 4. I use Streamyard because I have 10 seats in my backstage, which is very important on a virtual event when you're trying to take a panel of 5 and a panel of 6, and you're trying to, switch them between stages in, let's say, 30 seconds or less. So it's very challenging to, if you're doing a single broadcast, I would say OBS Ninja and OBS Studio, you can make all of that work pretty easily.
Awesome. And I'm curious, like, I see the versatility that StreamYard has. And do you just think like Zoom is just not up to par, or it's because Zoom has features that StreamYard does, but StreamYard does more because you produce a lot of live events?
I think Zoom's great at randomized breakout rooms or assigned breakout rooms. So if you're trying to facilitate something that's, in that form, on a virtual event, we will use Zoom for some of the happy hours sometimes, or we'll use a tool called Run the World or a handful of other like Twitch and places like that. But Zoom is very social. It's useful. It's just not useful for a talk show. It's not necessarily useful for a number of pre-recorded elements. And honestly, for virtual events, we drive people to using things like StreamYard or even OBS to create segments that feel more professional and less like something you're doing in your living room on a, Tuesday night. It is challenging to get over that zoominess, but it is a great place to participate. Like we use it as the dance floor in a wedding, and then we had the wedding guests here while, let's say, you and I are here, and let's say the dance floor is where the OBS Ninja is here, right? So that becomes a really fun way to engage everyone while still having a little bit of a playful separation in terms of event design. So
it seems like StreamYard has a lot more customization. It's easier to customize and have different like design. So like the Zoom look, right, is just like we're either going to be like full split screen or gallery view, speaker view. Like it's very particular, where it seems like with StreamYard, I'm sensing people are really liking the customization.
Right. Whereas I would say OBS is actually the most customizable. So let's say I wanted to go to a whole different, I have different scenes laid out from different things. So this was when I was doing some Black Rock City things. So a lot of this was useful specifically for the Burning Man scenes. And then I don't need these again, or I might just ditch them altogether. Every time I'm building new scenes for a conference, I might layer them in different ways. I can also set my scene transitions. So OBS and then other tools of a more professional nature like vMix give you something akin to what you can do in a television studio at home. So this is your most flexible solution.
Great. And with OBS, like if I have it, I can invite, like if I have OBS, I can invite you to be on my, do a video interview with you and just send you some kind of link or something. You don't have to sign up for it or any of that stuff?
There's no sign up, but it's open source software. So if you're trying to bring in a video feed from another source, you might need to use something like OBS Ninja, what we looked at earlier, because what you're going to see here is it's only going to take things from your local feed, or it's going to be asking for a video capture device, a window capture device where you can send that input from something else. So some people do this remotely via HD video as well. So that's how a handful of television shows are doing their remote feeds right now, is mixing it this way.
Okay. Well, it's also making me think that, like, if I wanted to do, for example, I'll probably be, creating some more of like my wisdom series, leading meditations, and mantra from my lineage. So OBS would be great for just things that I want to record and send out. So like that,
Right.
like rather than having to like, adjust it, do it on my DSLR and like, edit it, import it. This is just like getting it digitized from the beginning. So that's an interesting tool. And
Right.
thank you.
And it's free. It's easy, it's free. You can do a lot with it, and you can stream just about anywhere in terms of public sites. StreamYard gives me more flexibility to save my recordings and have those in the cloud. So for virtual events, I've chosen to use this platform, but it's only because I needed that for virtual events. I don't know that everyone, in terms of producing, and certainly in what you're doing right now, you can do most of it via OBS. It's really great to see you, by the way. I just wanted to say hi, and I know that we are both moving right now and doing so much transition in this amazing time. But thanks for joining me today, and thanks to the rest of you. I'm going to go ahead and cut this stream, but Kirthi, we can always find each other on social, and please in Facebook or wherever you want, just drop your handle so that anyone who wants to find out more about what you're doing. Is there anything else you want to share about your work or what you're working on right now that you might need help with or collaborators with?
I'm actually like in the middle of some, there's client projects. So anyone who needs social justice, social good storytelling, cinemagicalmedia.com. But I'm also working on a series of films about women of color leadership and also women of color spiritual stories that root from Buddhism and yoga. And I'm someone who is South Asian and really dipping into like the reclaiming of my roots and also telling from a decolonized story perspective. So my new film, Magical Messages, We Were Made for These Times, I Take My Place, is going to be part of Come Forward in October, and there's going to be a lot more coming. So anyone who wants to stay in touch with that and also like be part of uplifting BIPOC voices and also South Asian voices from yoga and Buddhism, this is the work we have to do.
I am so honored to watch how your work is finally being received by the public. We've been friends now for over 10 years, and I just want to honor how you've grown in such beautiful work, both in yoga and in teaching and in your film work and in media, and now bringing it all together. Thank you. Thank you for doing the sometimes difficult work of bringing wisdom for the rest of us in a way that we can receive it. So thank you to the rest of you. I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream, and have a great day. Bye.